Chris Lovell here with another edition of Patriot Talk. Joe Sexton, my guest, as always. Colton Coon's taking care of us behind the camera, as always. Coach Sexton was actually talking to me about how he was fond of watching Beverly Hills 90210 as a young child, and I was like, that's kind of a weird show for a football coach to have been watching back in the day. I was always a big fan of Brenda, too. Were you? Yes?
No clue what you're talking about.
Okay.
No clue.
If we just would turn the microphone on and camera on before we actually started taping, you'd hear all kinds of good stuff. Okay, 49-7 win over New Home, the Leopards. This was a much different scenario than a year ago. It's very clear this is a different football program, different team, really different campus and school than it was a year ago. 49-7, it kind of turns into a bit of a ho-hum, boring game there after a while, just like kind of the way you would have wanted it.
Well, you really can't complain about if you're on the right side of those kind of games. There were a couple times last year we were not on the right side of those things, and it was fun. It was almost a complete game. We had a little lull in the third quarter. Didn't come out after halftime real sharp, and it was, third quarter there wasn't a whole lot of action going on, but we got it going again in the fourth quarter. So, just the start that we had was great for us. The kids were really excited. Pre-game, I couldn't keep them in the indoor because they just kept inching out of there. They were ready to go. So just finally got them out on the field and turned them loose. And, we'd been talking about earlier about our offensive and defensive lines, and they, proved to be all that we've been talking about.
Yeah, because at the end of the first quarter, this is 20-0. And you've got New Home, who had switched offenses, and it was more running-based and not in a position to be able to come back from a big deficit like that. You've kind of got them in a bit of a pickle.
Well, that was definitely the start we were looking for.
Yeah, because against those kinds of running-based offenses, if you get a lead on them, boy, you can take them out of what they're wanting to do. But it's always important for fast start or set the tone early and all those things. But I want to talk to you a little bit about your quarterback, who is a 3-year starter, Colton Bouchard. He accounted for 5 touchdowns, 3 passing, 2 running, and he spread it around and all that. But just kind of take me through. He was 13 of 21, 117 for 3 touchdowns in the air, 7 for 53 on the ground with two touchdowns. Talk to me about captain and just all well-rounded performance from him, because he doesn't even play a full game because you got to pull him early.
Right. He did a lot of really good things. Made some really great throws. The only kind of knock that I can find on Colton that night is he took too many shots. He would try to stretch out that play just a little bit, and he knows. He would come to the sideline and look at me, and I'm like, yes, I know you just threw a touchdown pass, but you just took a big old shot right there. And, he's a competitor. He battled back from that collarbone injury from last year, and he made some super throws. And with guys in his face, trying to extend and just give some guys some extra time to get open. But he did great. He popped right back up, and we talk all the time about stay low and save the equipment. Just get on the ground when you can. But he's a competitor, and whenever he's got a chance to make a play, he's going to make a play. So
that's some good life advice. Stay low and save the equipment. You could use in a variety of different ways, but yeah, that's just good standard advice to be walking around knowledge right there. And staying low, the older you get, it's harder to do, right?
Yeah, those knees don't bend like they used to.
No, it's like, hips kind of bothering me here. Yeah, that's right.
I resemble that remark.
It pops when all that stuff.
I ought to be young again. Yeah, but a couple of shots that he took, I was like, those were kind of unnecessary there, Colton. So
throw it in the stands.
Yeah. But 2 of the ones that he took turned out to be touchdown passes. So he hit Coleman one time in the corner of the end zone, and he stretch that out just long enough to get Coleman open, and so he did well.
Yeah, Coleman to Colton.
Coleman to Colton. There's a lot
and then Colton to Coleman. It's all different kinds. You did get because the score being what it was, but I also think that you were maybe close to this anyways, but you got some other quarterbacks in the game.
Yes.
You've got 3 of them.
We've got 3 super quarterbacks.
Yeah, you've got 2 sophomores. And that's the thing about this position. Everything else, there's a rotation. I mean, offensive line, sometimes not necessarily that way, but everything else rotates, and there's multiple people that play it, but quarterback is just the way it works. But Salich and Jamison Gonzalez, one maybe more tilted toward the thrower, the other the runner, and very young and young yet polished, I should say.
Yes.
But they kind of showed you some things too at the end of that game.
Size, an incredibly smart quarterback. He's he made a couple of throws, and he just can identify where to go with the ball quickly.
It's very smooth.
Yes.
Surveying the field, knows what he's looking for.
And
again,
I think we said this last year. He's got that mentality that you want in a quarterback. He's a lot like Colton. He's doesn't get
even keeled,
flustered.
Yeah.
And then with Jamison, Jamison is I think what we say last week, twitchy.
Well, yeah, and but Jamison can get fired up now.
Yeah, he can.
And like put a hat on you.
Well, he had a couple of runs there in the fourth quarter that I think he was more concerned about running over somebody than he was anything else, because he is not afraid of contact.
Trying to headhunt.
Yeah. We used to have a quarterback around here a long time ago down at Cooper High School that reminds me almost to the T of Jamison Gonzalez.
Okay.
Yeah, he is. I think Colton remembers Trey Wood, and he is a lot like Trey was.
Okay.
Trey would come all the way across the field looking for a safety. And
just to go ahead hunting.
Yeah. Just to put a hat on somebody.
I like it. But you spread it around. I think 3 different running backs got to carry. Both, a couple of quarterbacks obviously carried them, also 5 different, and then 7 different receivers with a reception. So again, I'll let you kind of mention this again, because you were telling me this before we went on the air, but that's the epitome of balance.
Right.
This is what you like.
It's what good old Mike Leach used to talk about. Everybody always used to wonder what he was writing down on his little tiny piece of paper. And of course, the first time that I saw actually Coach Leach in a game, that's what I was wondering is what that was. But he kept up with who's touching the football, and it's. A lot of people think balance is 50% run, 50% pass, or as close to that as you can. But to him, his balance was how many people are touching the football. Mm-hmm. So you can't just take away a Levi Walker or Pierce Fioroni, and because if you do that, Will Hudson's going to kill you.
Yeah.
And so, Will had a great catch, and that seemed like all Will does is catch touchdown passes. So
show up, says nothing, makes plays.
Yes,
it's about what you want.
Yes.
You ever when you're back, R.I.P. to Coach Leach? Yeah, he's sorely missing. It's such an influence on all coaches like Coach Sexton right now and everybody in this city. But he used to had that little sheet, and there was this very simple set of plays, but you just run the same play out of maybe 10 different formations.
Yes.
And sometimes, you ever heard the stories when he'd look at the quarterback and kind of go like that, and he'd look at that little sheet? You never know what that meant?
No.
It was like, I got nothing, man. You call it. I mean, it was like, check it. Like, so have at it. And the quarterbacks over a variety of years would always say to me, like, he's out there, he's wanting me to call it. Like, I don't. So, but now that's more normal, but it just always cracked me up because everybody thought it was this real complicated. Well, the beauty was its simplicity.
Yes.
That's
and if you watched his offenses, it looked complex. With lots of moving parts, but everybody that either had a working knowledge of it would say the complete opposite.
Yeah, shallow crosses, man. Those deadly, man. The shallow crossing routes, boy, because it's tough to defend, man or zone, whatever. Okay, so let's put on our if you're a coach, you got to find something to critique, to improve upon, or whatever. Is it what if I say to you, hey coach, is being situational on offense trying to be a bit better there, because I do look at the numbers and you were, I think, 4 of 14 on third and fourth down on offense. Is that something you would like to?
Sure. You always want to be better on third down.
Move the chains?
I don't. Yeah. With Coach Newton, he knows once we get, certain.
You guys are going to go for it.
Yeah, we're going to get certain situations, and it's going to be, a green light. And as a play caller, I would like that knowledge to go, okay, I don't have to get all 14 yards here. We can get half of that to put us in something manageable. But you're right. Third down, I think we can definitely improve on that, this coming week. And, there's just so many parts of a football game that, I thought our special teams went well. Pierce almost takes one to the house early. And so special teams, we can always improve there. Defense, we missed a few tackles here and there. But there's not too many games go by where, we don't have any missed tackles, because those guys on the other side, they don't want to get tackled. So, there's just bits and pieces, but I think third down is something we could definitely improve on.
Yeah, Ferroni, that's his weapon to have on special teams.
He is so
sure.
dangerous. He's fearless. We talk to him all the time, during our special teams time, that if he's got to run 30 yards to pick up a punt, because he will go get it. And I tell him all the time, I don't care if you fair catch this thing all the time. Just for one, don't get yourself hurt, keep the ball from rolling, and we're happy. But he's not wired like that.
Yeah.
He is. He's going to go get it, and if he can make a play, he's spinning already the other night before. He had just caught the ball and, made a heck of a move, and off he goes. He had a couple of moves like that a couple of weeks ago when we scrimmaged Bushland. So just the things that he can do. I think Coach Newton has said a couple times, I wish we had 3 footballs to get all of our guys involved. But I thought we did a pretty good job trying to get as many people as we could involved.
And then, we were talking about situational stuff. I wanted to mention this, too. Conversely, you held Newhome to 3 of 18 on third and fourth downs. So that part is good. Right. So it's hard to find a lot of fault with a 49-7 win. What I hear you saying is we need to sustain it throughout. We don't need to come out of the locker room with a lull. Play a full game, be better situationally, all that kind of stuff.
Because there's going to be a situation sometime down the road, probably this Friday, where we're going to have to answer coming out of –
deal with adversity.
Out of
sure.
halftime.
Yeah, deal with adversity. You only have one two-way player on the team, one that you're intentionally putting on offense or defense. And things may dictate that you change that as we go along. When was that decision made? Back in the spring or even –
Yeah, probably early spring. We just started looking at all the skill kids that we had and all of our depth, and we just are trying to limit how many kids were on the field all the time. Now, we have some who, offensive or defensive players, who play some role on special teams, and that's fine. But we just want to try to roll as many fresh bodies at you in the fourth quarter as possible. As we're carrying 58 right now. And just like we said earlier, there's so many of those players who can, they may not be a starter, but when they come in the fourth quarter, like, you put Caden Joseph in the game in the fourth quarter, and he's fresh, and you're tired, you're not going to tackle him. I mean, he is a phenomenal running back also. So just being able to have more depth and just to keep players fresh, like our D-line. You look at the Cowboys of the 90s, they rolled in new defensive linemen as often as they could. So
yes, they did.
We're gonna throw that Cowboy thing in there again.
How many of your starting receivers or starting DBs are actually on special teams?
I'm going to say there's probably 4 or 5 of those guys that are
Okay.
have some sort of role.
Yeah, like on one, because
JJ's back there, some on punt and kick return. Lane Miller could be a returner. He had a good season last year. Of course, Pierce. Talon could go back there and return kicks.
Well, and it's not just not returning, but just coverage, whatever. Because some of these kids want to go play at the next level,
Right?
And
you've got to start somewhere. Sometimes
you better be able to play really well on special teams, because sometimes college coaches will pop in special teams film and they won't even look at offense or defense, because that's the first couple of 3 years that we're going to get out of this rascal at the next level is like in that. And if they don't do that hard or do it well or whatever, then, or if they don't have an interest, then moot point.
Well, we have a great snapper. Brody Box does a great job.
Lost start, deep snapper.
He's our punt snapper, and then our long snapper, and then he also snaps for our field goals and extra points. So does a great job. But that's one of those little jobs that nobody notices until it sails over the punter's head, and then they realize who it is. But when it's a perfect snap,
it's like a goalie in soccer.
Yeah, you don't notice them until something goes wrong.
That's right. Thankless job.
And we have, in my opinion, the best holder in the world, Will.
And Will Hudson, yeah.
It doesn't matter, where that snap is. It's going to get on the ground and give Gonzo a opportunity to kick it. I thought Jackson did a super job kicking off. He's such a weapon. He can chip it, he can onside it, he can kick it deep, and then he converted all his PATs last week. So, it was good.
Improvement week 1 to week 2. There's some people that just say, man, teams typically show the most improvement week 1 to week 2. When you win 49-7, I'd be curious there, but also do you believe in that? Is that depending on every team's different, and ideally you want to improve as you go.
Right, yeah, you definitely don't want to peak week 1.
No.
That usually doesn't work out well for you. As far as, I didn't think, our penalties last week, we had a couple that were maybe hit and miss just a little bit. I don't know. Sometimes they would be called and sometimes they wouldn't. But you just want to try to limit those pre-snap penalties, those ones that are just
that you can control.
Gosh, that just drive you nuts. If you got a kid that's blocking somebody and he's getting after it, I have a hard time being
effort.
Yes, I have a hard time worrying about that too much.
Yeah, just be smart. But you did something. So the last time we talked to you was in the middle of the week a week ago, and the new home game was still a day or so away. But the night before the new home game, you did something that you've kind of tried to make a tradition out of, and that's I don't want to explain it incorrectly, but is this just dads and the players, or this is all families?
No, we kind of have evolved that just a little bit to
explain what it is and because you do this in the preseason.
Right.
Every year.
Usually the Thursday night before our first home game, we invite. We started off the first year with dads, and then there's been opportunity or chances whenever dads were not available. They were out of town working, whatever. So we've had a few moms show up to do it, and this year it was kind of whoever you wanted to bring. So we have those family members come up and help their athlete put these decals on the helmet. This is our third year with these decals. I think it's a pretty sharp look. I think a lot of the family members enjoy coming up. I like to watch to see. Some of them are so meticulous about putting those stuff on there. And then you have, for example, you have one kid that's trying to put them on, and the dad is like, no. That's not even. You got to do this. And so it's fun to watch them do that. And plus, we get to eat pretty well that first. Our guy Lino makes some pretty good pulled pork, and the kids ate it up.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, that's good.
But it's a good thing to have family members. Probably here in the next couple of weeks, we're gonna do something with the moms. Let the moms come up and have something for them to do, and so I like to try to get family involved as much as we can.
Yeah, man. It's that's the whole point of the experience.
Right.
It's you're riding the wave together, and you're all in it together, and you're kind of the emotions are ups, downs, and in betweens, and it's a long season.
Right. Especially if you can get moms and dads up there just to see how we operate and see what their kids actually doing.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of parents enjoy that.
I agree. Because most people think that I didn't realize that they're but yeah,
Right.
that's okay. Fun question for you. Best movie sequel. What do you got? What's your favorite movie sequel of all time? Got one? Kind of putting you on the spot there. But
Gosh, you always make me think. Best movie sequel.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that the sequels are ever as good as.
I know, but there's some that are good. Mine was Rocky IV.
That was.
It's a good one. It was a ways back.
Yeah, Rocky's always a good one. I kind of like The Incredibles too. That was good.
The Incredibles too. Okay, yeah, there you go. I mean, I do you watch a lot of those?
Shrek was a good one also.
Do you watch a lot of those animated movies?
Oh yeah,
because the humor in them is just as good for adults as it is for the kids.
Oh yeah,
there's some genius stuff going on.
Oh, the Aladdin.
Oh yeah,
with Robin Williams.
And like the voices, because they're from the some of those folks are getting paid off of just doing the voiceovers for some of those things. But yeah, some of those characters are money.
Yeah, I got to see a lot of those with my daughter.
There you go.
She was all into those.
Don't ever grow up, man. It's always always be a kid.
I love a lot of those. I haven't seen a lot of them anymore. I just hadn't had that opportunity. But those were some really good ones.
But the Incredibles too. That was solid work. Okay, more serious one. I heard this the other day, and you're gonna maybe know where I heard it. You didn't say it, but I'll mention it in a second. But it made me thinking, like, what is your favorite coaching cliche? Like, there's coach speak. Hey, one play at a time. We got to play. There's all the things. But there's some that are out there that are, I think, more meaningful than others. But is there one that you're like, no, I say this, I really believe it. It's not cliche to me, but this is my go-to. But do you have one?
Yeah, you got to run the ball and play defense.
Okay.
Man, that's it.
Run the ball. Yes. And to even go further, you need to be able to run the ball when you want to.
Yes.
You can't just say, we're going to run it. No. When the other team knows that you want to run it and you know you want to run it, can you do it then?
Right.
That's when you know you're cooking.
It just opens up so many different things.
Yes, it does. It allows you to be balanced.
And then, people start trying to stop the run, and then it just opens up so many.
Then then you get that little sheet out and start going, okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, then you just get them going.
Heard this one the other day. Victory has 1,000 fathers, but defeat is an orphan. You ever heard that one?
Mm-hmm.
You know who said that one?
No.
Jimmy Johnson.
See, here you are with the cowboy theme.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and it's interesting because everybody wants to take credit when it goes well. Like I'd be willing to bet you that a lot of folks, feel like did my part against New Home, 49-7. We're all good to go. But, last year it was like, and then maybe, that's what you're trying to create, though, is trying to...
and it's just like any other
have many fathers team. For defeat. No, not really, but you get what I'm saying. Like accountability and culture.
And you just want, on a football team or really any kind of team, you want everybody to take ownership in whatever their role is. Yeah. And I see what you're saying. It's where, that kid that's being a cheerleader on the sideline, or
your band, like all
cheer, palm, everybody. Yes. Everybody plays a role, some sort of role in Friday night. That's what makes Friday night so great.
Yeah, and you've got a couple more of these at home before you head on
We
the road.
do.
You're going to get post up right there at old Patriot Stadium, man. Just right there in the paint. Feed me the ball. Just sit right there. You get called for a 3-second violation. I'm spilling basketball analogies into Joe's.
Yeah,
football
we don't even
podcast
know
here.
that the bus barn's down there right now.
That's right. It's got to be a good feeling though. It's like been an overcompensation. The teeter-totter has definitely swayed the other way.
Finally.
Yeah, that's right. All right, well, that's going to do it for this edition of Patriot Talk. I certainly appreciate Coach Sexton for taking some time with us, and always fun to come down and break down a big win after that and then look ahead to the next one. But thanks again to the folks at Gene Messer Ford Lincoln. Thank you to my man Colton Coons, as always. And, hey, man, go watch some episodes of Beverly Hills 90210, and you can channel your inner Joe Sexton as well, too.
Not happening.
Talk to you next time.